Hello, this is Module 4 of Logistics for E-commerce for UPS's Women's Exporter Program. Welcome. The objectives for this module today about logistics for e-commerce is to help all small and medium enterprises understand what e-commerce is and its importance to each one of you. We'll talk about the types of e-commerce that are out there. We'll talk about the strategies that affect them and support them. And then we'll bring forward some tools and some trends that may be important for you as you think about your e-commerce strategies. So by the end of this, we expect that all of you SMEs will have a better understanding of the importance that e-commerce can play in your ability to reach more customers within your own country, around the globe, and help increase sales and improve your own customer experience through really good exporting as well. So let's go ahead and jump in. Let's start with the importance of e-commerce. So the importance of e-commerce as we define it today is an electronic commerce, and it refers to how commercial transactions are conducted online. So this means that whenever buying or selling happens on the internet or other mobile and other e-commerce platforms, that's an e-commerce transaction. That's how you're involved. You know, clearly many of you are very familiar already with the fact that you can buy online and do online shopping. That's defined as e-commerce. It's the buying and selling of goods via the internet, or now as we know it, on many other devices. And there's several ways where we think about the benefits of that, and to some degree, some of the challenges that have to be addressed in e-commerce. The first one starting with lower cost and more convenience. So most of e-commerce, as it's known today, has really helped companies to think about dropping some of their costs to start businesses and to run businesses, because there's not a physical storefront. So there's not rent and other costs associated with the traditional retail type of business. And buyers can shop from wherever they want. And so you can do that almost 24 hours a day, which is, again, a good thing for consumers, but it's something that as a business you have to be aware of. Broader brand exposure for more customers. Again, with the ease of technology, it'll means that your brand can be magnified very quickly online. You can reach a much higher number of customers located in different geographical areas very fast. When we talk about traffic and tracking, your business, the SMEs, can reach more customers than ever through paid or organic research, which really drives an awful lot of more businesses and customers and consumers to your website stores. And they can be easily tracked now, so it gives you even greater amounts of data to modify your offers or to modify your contact with those different types of customers. And so at the end of the day, e-commerce has really let small and medium enterprises grow much faster. The scalability is immense. You can grow with lower investments because you can add more product lines quickly if you're smart and able to adapt to the needs of your growing customer base. You can connect with them faster and communicate with them. And it also allows you to flexibly offer different payment options as well. All the time being able to improve your brand, track and trace the data, and do this at a smart investment level. Go ahead to the next slide, please. So let's talk about some e-commerce statistics in particular. Again, put this in perspective. E-commerce sales worldwide are expected to be about $4.5 trillion by 2021. That's up from approximately $3.5 trillion in 2019, which is a huge increase. And we look at where that's happening, and you look at China being the biggest one on the page, clearly followed by the US and the UK. But even when you look at Brazil, it's still a huge portion of possibility out there. And when we look at where that additional spend is coming from, you've got almost 1.7 billion people, or 22% of the population, who are buying online. And that's expected to change dramatically even in the next year to be 2.14 billion people who buy online. And quite candidly, with new situations happening in the economy today in middle of 2020, that could even change more rapidly than current predictions. We do see statistically that men spend more on their web buying, 68% more than women do. On average, they spend more per transaction than women do, $220 versus $151. But I will say my experience is also women do more transactions more frequently. They tend to be more of the buyers, but they may not be buying the more expensive things. So this is an interesting thing to think about in your data as well, to understand what customers and consumers are really doing. And then we look at what generations. It's no doubt that at least the Gen X part of the population, that's the group born between 1965 and 1979, makes an average of 19 transactions per year. That's important to pay attention to the age group that you're trying to cultivate. But make no mistake that the millennials are close behind. And as they grow bigger and bigger in terms of full numbers and a little older with greater spend, and then you look at the Gen Z, you're going to see, again, just a natural tendency for those numbers to continue to increase as people get older and have more devices and ways to interact with business decisions. And then when we look at how it's used or how it's communicated, 65% of consumers look up price and do comparisons on a mobile platform, even when they're in physical stores. So there's an intersection of both physical and technology and the way that customers and consumers interact with it in their buying behaviors that's changed dramatically over the last 5 to 10 years. There are approximately 4 main types of e-commerce that I'm going to talk to next. So let's go ahead and move into that. Now, some of these might be simple terms, but they do create a lot of different models that businesses can follow. The first one we think about is what's called B2B, or business to business. And this model includes the commerce that connects between one business to the other, as it's described. And so while many e-commerce businesses in this niche are service providers, there are softwares that can be connected. There's on furniture and supply, as well as document hosting companies that use B2B models. So it's not always just about a product. There's many different ways where B2B connects one business to the other and is now transacting online at a greater pace than ever before. B2C tends to be the one that most people think about, though. This is where the traditional model, retail model, has stood in the last 20 years, where businesses sell to individual consumers, but it's conducted online. So the business is actually transacting with the consumer. And SMEs obviously can use this model as well. It does take the place sometimes of a physical online, or it can be a part of that strategy, which we'll talk about soon. The next two are ones that we probably don't think about as much, but they are definitely a growing component of e-commerce. And that is the consumer to business, the C2B, and the consumer to consumer, the C2C. So like in both cases, they're a little bit unusual, perhaps, but they're nonetheless really growing in its magnitude and its prevalence. The online commerce, C2B, involves having a consumer sell goods to businesses. And as the technology allows more consumers to create things from their own homes or have products or extra inventory, should you think about it that way, that they want to be able to market, they actually are positioning them now to businesses. Okay, it's kind of thinking about a sole proprietorship that serves a large business. The C2C is a really interesting space, though, because this all's happening in almost a shared economy kind of thought process of a consumer having something that they think another consumer could use. And either that's maybe a recycled scenario, perhaps, or it could be new goods. It could be a shared economy of sorts. So it's how does one consumer share something with another consumer, transact that relationship on a platform of technology, the find and the source, create the shipping that goes along with it so that the actual product is moved from one consumer to another, never touching a traditional retailer in the middle. So it's a very interesting and fast, dynamic, growing part of e-commerce. Little difficult for a business to get involved in because it really is a consumer to consumer, but it is potentially something that people and businesses need to be aware of as e-commerce is changing over time. Let's talk about some strategies now then. So if we can, let's go ahead and move into 3 main strategies that are prominent in the e-commerce world. The first one is kind of that modification of traditional brick and mortar storefronts plus an online. Now, when we look at this, this tends to be involving both the physical and the technology so that you can properly promote your product and sell in both capacities to your customers. Now, we do have some recommendations, that things that you should consider when that happens is selling a selection of your goods online versus what happens in your stores. We find that that's often most productive, and it gets your fast moving products online, and it gets more touch and more feel and more customer interaction in your store. Alternatively, online storefronts can sell customized or specialty lines of product, while your online sells more of your baseline products. So it depends on your strategy as to whether or not it's important for your customers to really get that interaction in person and to touch and feel what you're selling, or whether or not it's speed perhaps of how they can select it online. And it may change over time as well. We see a lot of brick and mortars who really promote coming into the store maybe the first time, get that connection, touch and feel the product, and then support subscription services, especially for consumers or businesses who might not be local and cannot come to their storefronts all the time, that they support online post the first or second visit. So it's create that relationship face to face and then move online. So it's a combination of things when we talk about brick and mortar and online. Okay. Another possible strategy or business model to think about is pickup or digital only. And in this case, it's all of your sales online, but you're not actually shipping them. So the retailer actually could sell the products, but encourage their consumers or their customers to come into the storefront to pick up what they were selling. And in that case, you get, again, a different interaction with your customer, because you get to still see them. You still get to potentially even upsell them when they're in the store, but their first interaction with you might be online. And it provides that experience that's maybe easier to set up as a business model, because it doesn't depend on shipping either. It depends on your local environment being able to come and pick it up from you. So it also can be a little limiting in a different capacity as well. But we do see that it can have the impact that's very positive, because customers who use this model tend to like it. We believe that it can increase up to a lifetime value of that customer by about 30%. So it does have its play in the market. And then the last one is really the online only, which, if we look at the online only, it is everything's online. There is no storefront, so that means that you have low overhead costs. But there are things to consider, because when you don't have that live interaction, as sometimes certain customers or certain humans like, then you still need to figure out how you cultivate a really strong relationship with somebody in a virtual world. And so there's pros and cons to each one of these models. And you really need to think about where your customer base is, what motivates them to be not only a first-time buyer, but a recurring buyer. And everything that you think about in e-commerce needs to be directed in that way. So let's talk about that next, which is kind of that journey that customers need to think about, or that you think about as they go through their journeys as well. And this is kind of a flow that I like to talk about, from awareness all the way to advocacy, so that, and overlay that process, if you will, are the e-commerce kind of things that intersect in that journey. So when you think about how do you get your customer to even know that you exist and the products that you have to start thinking about those e-commerce platforms and some of the strategies we talked about before, and define how you want them to learn about you. As you want to cultivate them to actually purchase something, like we call demand generation, there's another aspect of technology and customer experience support that should be brought into the equation. And that kind of blends into that consideration for buy. Once they decide they want to buy, then you've got to figure out how you get them to pay for that purchase. So this payment process is also a customer experience to be worked through in the e-commerce world, both for your ability to have cash flow with limited concerns, as well as for your customer to have a really good experience and an easy way to pay without a lot of complexity, let's say. So that's the good part of the front end transactions. You've got somebody who wants your product, they're willing to pay for it. Now, how do you actually get it to them? And this portion of the customer's journey means the physical side, perhaps. So where are you keeping your goods so that you can get it to your customer safely and quickly and conveniently? And how does that play into their value of that they've just purchased from you, and therefore the fact that they want to come back and do it again, otherwise known as retention. So if you then think about how the logistics portion of warehousing and shipping affect your customers' want to do it over and over again and repurchase, it is part of that method to think through, which means at the end of the day, they will come back to you if they feel that they have received the greatest product and the greatest value for that product and the experience, which does mean sometimes things don't always go right, but you can always solve for them. And so we think about returns or reverse logistics as a good portion of that advocacy link to your customer as well. Because even though they might be returning something, that still leaves you every opportunity to either sell a new product to them that is better than the one they're returning, or at least make that experience good enough to where they will try it again. So this customer journey, I think, is a really important thing to think about as you set your e-commerce strategy. Now, some of the right-hand side of this page, we're going to go into a little bit more depth on in just a minute. So I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Maria Luisa.
Thank you so much, Kat. Very important information. And I think as you were talking and mentioning all the different aspects, it's important for us to look about how do we look at the payment. And depending on needs, small and medium-sized enterprises can choose from among many digital payment options. Small business owners have many digital payment options when it comes to accepting payments from customers. When deciding which digital payment option your company will adopt, consider what your needs are and pick the service that suits those needs. And also take into consideration payments that will help your customer and that will make the experience easier for your customer. We have here 3 examples of digital payment options. One example is PayPal. PayPal is the industry standard for accepting digital payments from your customers. Through PayPal, you will have the ability to place your PayPal checkout buttons on your website. This is a form where customers feel comfortable, can go through it, make a payment, and be able to transact easily when going through the experience of buying in your business. PayPal charges 2.9% plus 30 cents per transaction. And this is an example that we're providing so that you can have a sense when you're thinking about the pricing, what will be the type of cost that you need to take into consideration. Rates also go down if you use a PayPal credit card reader, etc. This is an example of what you have. A second example is the company called Square. Square offers you a free online store site where you can list and sell your items and services. In here, you can be charged a 2.75% fee on every transaction conducted online using the Square or its card reader. This is something that is important also for you to take into consideration. Those fees, when you're thinking about the pricing of your product, will have an impact also in the payment option. The other option that you can have, for example, is the checkout with Amazon. After signing up a free Amazon account, you'll be able to create a copy and paste codes that you place on your website, and you'll be able to create this Amazon account. When your site's visitors want to purchase an item there, they'll be directed to complete the transaction through a checkout by Amazon. For any monthly sales below $3,000 using checkout by Amazon, you will be charged 2.9%, plus any additional 30 cents per transaction, and rates will drop as your sales increases. As you can see here, you have different examples of what type of fees, what type of options, and what type of experiences you have. You have to take into consideration what works for your needs and how to make it seamless for your customers. You will also have here information on a link where you can find more digital payment options. Now, as we continue through that customer journey and the different experiences that Kat was talking about, it is important to offer fast and affordable shipping methods that can reduce shopping cart abandonment and increase conversions. Having a good e-commerce shipping strategy is key to any online business success. 38% of customers say they will never shop with a retailer again following a negative delivery experience. 60% of customers have chosen a competitor with more convenient delivery options. 74% of shoppers rate free shipping as important when checking out. E-commerce shipping encompasses all of the services required to transport online products from a retailer to the customer's delivery destination. The shipping strategy that you will choose will depend on a variety of factors, including your target customers, your budget, your margins, and your products. Ideally, you should try to offer a variety of shipping methods ranging from fast but expensive to slow but affordable. Providing your online customers with options has been shown to reduce shopping cart abandonment and increase conversions. Here are some shipping methods that you could consider adopting. Two-day shipping. Thanks to the ubiquity of Amazon Prime, two-day shipping has become almost synonymous with online shopping. This is considered the norm for domestic e-commerce shipping. Then you have same-day delivery. Same-day delivery guarantees that your order will be delivered on the same day it's purchased. 61% of consumers have reported that they are willing to pay for faster shipping speed. That said, though, successfully carrying out same-day delivery requires efficient and coordinated shipping operations, resources, courier services, and technology. This is important, as you have been hearing through this training, to keep in mind that you have to make an assessment on your business needs and what your inventory and management, so you're able to offer and be able to deliver in that offer. Another type of delivery is overnight shipping. When two-day shipping is the norm, how can e-commerce brands stand out? Enter overnight shipping, a shipping method that guarantees customers will receive their order on the next business day. Different carriers offer different overnight shipping services at different price points. The next type of shipping is expedited shipping. Expedited shipping refers to any shipping method faster than standard ground. The exact turnaround for expedited orders can vary depending on the carrier and shipping services. Offering expedited shipping can help your online store reduce shopping cart abandonment, meet customer expectations, and build customer loyalty. Last but not least is international shipping. International shipping can be challenging and expensive for any business. Different countries have different regulations, tariffs, and taxes, and requirements for incoming shipments. So it's important to find experienced fulfillment partners who can not only help you navigate international shipping, but also provide affordable shipping rates. Now, let's talk about the information that could help SMEs to calculate shipping costs more accurately. In addition to making a variety of options available, you will also need to make sure that you offer rates that are affordable, both for you and for your customers. Shipping costs. Shipping costs vary depending on a package's dimensions and weight, the shipping destination, the shipping service, the shipping carrier used, and the value of the contents. Dimensional weight. All major shipping carriers use a pricing technique called dimensional weight, or DIM, to calculate shipping costs. Dimensional weight takes into account the size of a package to determine the shipping cost. Shipping carriers like UPS, USPS, FedEx, and US Postal Service or other postal services calculate shipping charges based on whichever is greater, the weight of the package or its dimensional weight. Whichever is higher becomes the billable weight for which your business will be charged. Shipping and handling. Shipping costs refer to the cost of getting a package from the shipping carrier to the end consumer. Handling fees cover everything else, including the associated labor costs. Now, small businesses have to decide which rates to offer to their clients: flat rates, real-time carrier rates, or free shipping. There are various possible rates and structures to charge customers for shipping. A few options, as you can see here, are the flat rate shipping. This refers to charging the same fixed shipping rate, either across all orders or for all orders that fit a specific weight range, order value, or other classification. Real-time carrier rates. This refers to automatically taking the exact shipping rates from the carrier based on the customer's location and delivery preferences. This makes it possible to charge customers the exact amount that it costs your business to ship the order. Free shipping. Offering this can reduce shopping cart abandonment, increase conversions, and build customer loyalty. You can offer free shipping while staying profitable in a few different ways, including the shipping cost in the product price, requiring a spending threshold in exchange for free shipping, or taking a recurring fee in the form of a loyalty program in exchange for free shipping. An important decision is which online channel to use. And as we continue through this journey, it's important for small and medium-sized enterprises to understand if they can use a storefront or a marketplace. What are the differences? A storefront. Storefront is an e-commerce solution where merchant creates a website and uses it to sell products and services using shopping carts and e-commerce solutions. The right solution will depend on the merchant and their products. Generally, these solutions can be integrated with marketplaces or social media. Depending on the platform, it is possible to install plugins to increase the functionalities of the website. For example, you can have Shopify, BigCommerce, Wix, etc. A marketplace, on the other hand, is a website or an app that facilitates shopping from many different sources. The operator of the marketplace does not own any inventory. Their business is to present other people's inventory to a user and facilitate a transaction. One of the advantages of using a marketplace is that it offers a product range that's broader than what one store can offer. Examples of marketplaces are eBay, Amazon, AliExpress, Mercado Libre, Rakuten. As you can see, there's different options, and as always, you have to make an assessment of what works best for your needs and your customers. Let's talk about the e-commerce trends. Small and medium-sized enterprises should consider the e-commerce trends and what we're seeing before going online. Personalization and customer engagement. E-commerce stores lack face-to-face interactions. Online stores don't have a retail clerk who can recommend products based on customer interests, tastes, and preferences. Connecting your online store to a customer relationship management system, like HubSpot, for example, will allow you to use your customers' purchase and website behavior to personalize your marketing, emails, and pages. It will also allow you to upsell campaigns. B2B e-commerce is exploding. B2B companies are leveraging upcoming e-commerce trends. It's even been projected that B2B e-commerce sales will increase to 6.6 trillion worldwide by the end of next year. However, it's important for us to look at how the trends continue to change. And as we think of automation and the access to technology, these numbers can also expand. Interactive product visualization. Online reviews and influencer trends are not enough. Customers want to see your product, feel it, hold it in their hands, and remove all feelings of doubt before purchasing. Videos are an easy way to engage customers. For example, the brand Converse offers customers the ability to customize their shoes online. And then other more custom retail experiences. While interactive product technology and personalization all work to replicate the retail feeling online, no technology can truly replace everyday detail of an in-store experience. Now more brands are opening retail stores with less square footage and employees, but a more personalized and interactive in-store visit. All of these creative approaches are changing and will adapt to the different changes that we live in a daily activity. But it's important as a small, medium enterprise that you're constantly paying attention to what are those trends that are being seen. Let's talk about a case study. And for some of you, if you have done the other workshops, you have met Jenny. Meet Jenny. Jenny is an entrepreneur that wants to export using digital channels. Jenny is from Barcelona, sells her product in Japan, and wants to expand to new Asian markets using a B2C or business to consumer e-commerce model. In the future, she will evaluate also business to business opportunities. She will use the brick and mortar online strategy. Jenny will maintain her shop in Spain while opening online sites in Asia. What is the product? These are silk blouses for women, focused on ages 20 and older. She uses high quality fabrics, and blouses can be returned within 30 days. What is the price? The price varies from $50 to $250 depending on the style. The price includes shipping costs and return costs, and this will be paid by Jenny's company. Promotion. Organic and paid ads on social media, direct marketing, emailing the clients. And also, Jenny will take into consideration the satisfied customers that may share the opportunity for other customers to buy her blouses. The place, direct distribution from Spain, use of a fulfillment center in China to distribute to Asian countries. Channels, social media, and marketplaces. Before starting this new business, Jenny has a lot to think about. Jenny wants to calculate the final price of the sweet pink blouses. And Jenny has to go through the different areas, the different pieces of information that she has to take into consideration. What is the cost of the blouse? What will be the shipping fee? What will be the packaging cost? What is the cost before the credit card processing? What is the fee that will be charged for the credit card processing? The total cost and the optimal profit management. In order to engage her customers, Jenny wants to make sure that she has fast delivery, the most popular payment methods available, and can include her shipping costs in her prices. That's how she plans to engage the customers. Jenny's thinking of using one of the major international online marketplaces to reach customers all over the world. As of payment methods, having different payment methods is essential for small business owners. Jenny will confirm what options would work best for her business. Customer orders. Jenny wants to invest more time in her online channel and reply quickly to all of her customers' requests. Warehouse distribution. Jenny used to have a small warehouse, but now that she wants to expand her business, she will need a better option to store her product. Fulfillment. Jenny is looking for a company that offers fulfillment services so that she can efficiently distribute her products in Asia and Europe. Carriers. Finding a reliable carrier to ship Jenny's blouses on time to every corner of Asia and Europe is going to be key for Jenny's new online platform success. I'm going to invite my colleague Kat to come back. And Kat, as we look at the summary of the e-commerce process, let's take through this ecosystem, the different areas that should be considered.
Sounds very good, Maria Luisa. And I think Jenny has a lot to think about, and maybe the audience members here do as well. So we've put this in a summary with questions. So as you think about your strategy going forward, start with number one. How are you engaging with your customers today? Is it effective? Should it change? And have we given you some ideas as to how to rethink that in an e-commerce world of either brick and mortar, online only, or some combination in between? Secondly, do you need or want to extend or advance usage of marketplaces or online storefronts to really connect with a broader amount or a different diversity or a different geographic territory of your customer base? There's a lot of technology out there that can help, and Maria Luisa gave some good examples of that earlier. And then, of course, everyone wants to be paid for the work that they do. So how do you make sure that the payment methods that you accept are not only easy for your customers, making it something that they want to do again and again, but is smart and fast for you as well? Cash flow makes a big difference to small businesses, and knowing how quickly you can get paid so that you can also pay your vendors of the supplies that you had to bring in to create the products you do or the services you provide is critical to balance that cash flow. So a good payment methodology that's both customer experience and smart for you keeps your business thriving. And when you think about what a customer experience needs to be, how quickly are you able to process the orders of the customer? And what are their expectations in terms of how fast they want your response on information, how fast they want the physical movement of the good, and how they want to understand the security that you've put in place that makes sure that the products that they're buying are high quality, that if it's not sufficient to what they want, though, that they have a manner in which to get that back to you. So the speed with which you convey your order process is a really important part of your e-commerce solutions as well. Maria Luisa, what do you think about the last ones?
Thank you, Kat. And as you have taken us through the first, and we move forward with the what type of warehouse do you use, as we saw in the example of Jenny, it's very important for you to have into consideration if you expect to have a larger number of purchases, if you're able to manage where you keep your products, it's important for you to recognize what type of warehouse do you use and the location of that warehouse. Should it be closer to your customer or not? This is important for you as you take this into consideration. Which moves us also to number 6. Do you manage fulfillment through a 3PL company? And when we talk about fulfillment, one thing is, as we learn, you can have the inventory and have it available in the warehouse. When you get a request from a customer, if it is a customer, depending on the speed, on how fast do they want their product, how will you be able to manage that request and that fulfillment? And can you outsource and use other companies that help you to be more responsive and have a better interaction with your customer? Another important piece is what carrier are you working with? And I think, Kat, as you mentioned, and we talked about it, the experience of the customer is very important. And this is something that comes up a lot as we have learned with different customers. And it is that if you have a bad experience in the delivery, that can cause damage to the relationship with your customer. So it's very important that you take into consideration what carrier you use. Kat, I think with this, we finish our model. Thank you so much for helping us in this training.
Happy to do so. I think it's a great training for a lot of people to take advantage of the new world opportunities out there. Thank you for including me.
Thank you.